Family, this your boy FF Play back with another video. I know it's been a while, but it's all good things, all great things actually, and that's really why I want to drop in, because life has just been amazing, and as a result of it being amazing and starting to take off, this is an insight that has come as a result of that. And then after that, sometime this week I will be dropping I guess a quick testimony as far as to the reason why things have been taken off the way they have, and just what happened, kind of in a nutshell. Nothing too specific, but it's an amazing testimony, and I want to use it as an encouragement. But nevertheless, I just observed that when you get used to being down or losing, or really more so being stuck in fight or flight mechanism, where you are motivated only by fear, or like I said, fight or flight, or just really a survival, where you're just always high strung, and your motivator is usually fear, where you're running away or trying to avoid something, as opposed to just allowing our motivation to be internal. When you get used to that, and then you attain something that you have sought for a long time and thought that you wanted, and not saying that you don't want it, but I just said all of that to say, to highlight the nature of this ego or this flesh, to where you can settle down into complacency or laziness, or you can lose some of the motivation or edge that drove you to seek whatever it was that you were seeking in your life. Like, for instance, if you're hungry, your natural inclination is going to be to secure food by any means. Or if you're thirsty, or you feel like you're dying of thirst, your biggest motivation is going to be, how do I get water to quench that thirst? If you are used to poverty, or experiencing poverty or scarcity, then your primal motivation and instinct is going to be to do whatever it is that you have to secure money, vice versa. And so when that's not a factor anymore, once you have gotten and secured whatever it is that you were seeking, that's where complacency or laziness tends to kind of creep in, because you no longer have an urgent matter at hand. So it's like, what do I do now? And so I've been experiencing that as a result of what I'm going to testify about after this video, as far as a great milestone that has happened in our lives. But I see the nature of human nature, to where if you don't catch yourself, if you're not self-aware, how you can lose, like I said, some of the edge or the motivation, and you can find yourself sinking back into really more so of a self-sabotage type of thing going on, to where you don't do the things anymore, or with the fervency or the consistency that you did, that led you to get to what it is that you got. And so I say all that to say that we a lot of times we allow outside what's going on outside of us to be catalysts and motivators, and they're good short term, but it's not sustainable. You can't build a life off of that, because what are you going to do when that said factor or catalyst is no longer a factor? If you don't have that to motivate you, then what are you going to do? What are you going to use to progress forward? Otherwise, if you're not going forward, you're eventually going to be complacent and staying still. And if you're staying still long enough, then you're eventually going to go backwards. So we always should be striving, and I say striving lightly for lack of words. I'm getting out of the strive, the toil, the language of grind, because I don't believe that it has to be hard. And when I think of striving, I think of something that is really hard. You're going against the grain, you're going against the flow. But maybe I should say we should always be seeking or going in a direction or going towards from something, as opposed to always allowing us trying to get away from something to be the motivation, is what I'm trying to say. So instead of always needing negative circumstances to put fire behind our behinds, why can't we just inherently be motivated or be driven every day towards obtaining something else? It's like, once you achieve and knock out goals, we have to set our sights higher. We have to get new goals, new intentions, new goalposts, because if not, pretty soon we're going to get lazy. Now I understand why, like for instance, you got rappers, or you have artists, period, whatever the art, whatever the craft is, whether they're actors, whether they're fighters, wherever they're rappers, musicians, or whatever, to where a lot of times, like, I'll use the rim of rap. Like, a lot of times that first album, or those first album or two, mainly that first one, a lot of times be their greatest work, because the place that they were trying to get from produced a fire in them that a lot of times they are not able to repeat. The place of scarcity or hunger or thirst or depravity or the level of poverty that they came from or the circumstances they were trying to escape produced an unquenchable fire in them. And so we can hear their hunger, we can hear their passion, we can hear their pain, we can feel every spectrum of the human emotion, we can feel it in their art because of the place that we're coming from. But a lot of times, once they obtain the success, a lot of times they lose that edge, and it's just human nature. If you don't keep yourself motivated, if you don't keep yourself uncomfortable, then we can all fall victim to it. And I'm not saying that I always have to live from fight or flight, but we have to do things to keep ourselves motivated or keep ourselves uncomfortable. We have to be creative and finding ways to continue to keep ourselves motivated and uncomfortable. We have to be proactive as well, because if you don't, that's when life happens. That's when certain things happen as a catalyst to put the fire behind our butts to get us back going again. And so I know I'm one that I don't like whoopings, and I don't always like crisis by fire to come in my life to motivate me to get off my butt. And sometimes it's what we need. A lot of times it is, but I don't always want that to be the case. Why can't I motivate myself? And so a lot of times that's where I'm understanding that's where systems and routine and ritual comes in, because we don't always feel like doing what it is that we need to do. And that's not saying need to do as far as obligatory, but we don't always want to do the things. Sometimes you feel like it and sometimes you don't. And if we rely just off of whims or how we're feeling in the moment, then a lot of times and a lot of days, the things that we need to do or even desire to do deep down within, it just won't get done because we don't feel like it and we don't have any pressing urgent matter to motivate us to do it, so then it doesn't get done. But that's no way to live. And so I am on my own personal journey finding ways to motivate myself, to keep myself uncomfortable, to keep myself fired up. I understand now why fighters, when they in preparation getting ready for a fight, why they take the measures that they do in order to get themselves motivated, or artists, or just people period, why they change scenery or why they may fast, to get the edge back. There's certain things that we can do to keep ourselves uncomfortable, to keep ourselves hungry, because no matter what we attain and how high we go, there's always more, because our potential is limitless. And so why settle for less when we can achieve more? But that's my rant for now. Like I said, the next video I'll be doing will be a short testimony about circumstances that turned out for our great actually, life-changing, paradigm-changing. And I'm just so glad and I'm just so elated. And it's the catalyst to the start of our new lives. But until then, like, comment, share, subscribe, all that good stuff for the algorithm. Peace.